Welcome to Floater Game. Today we'll be doing some just season predictions, seeding, playoff predictions, stuff like that, NBA superlatives. We'll let Lauren start it off. He's got his whole 15 team bracket down.
With records and everything.
Yeah.
So we'll have him start it off.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me take you all through it. Let's do it real quick here. Let's run through. I'm gonna start bottom. I'll go east. I'll go the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
So at the bottom, we got the Wizards. We got Pool Party, Kyle Kuzma going on. They're gonna go 22-60. I have the prediction. Well, way too early prediction. 22-60. They're gonna underperform what they did last year. But Pool Party, we got Pool Party gonna be all-star. Kuzma's gonna do his stuff, but as a team, just not coming together. Really competitive. I mean, last year I was telling Marvin last season, this was a while ago, a couple months ago, I was telling him this is probably the most competitive league we've ever seen. And I think this season might be even more competitive and therefore harder to predict. And even good teams, they're just gonna they might struggle winning games. I think this Wizards squad really, they have some good people on that squad. I have them coming in last in the East, 22-60. After we got the Pistons, young squad. They're going to win 7 games more than last year at 24-58. Potential injuries always a problem with Jalen Duren, Marvin Bagley, even Cade Cunningham. But Cunningham's going to come back. Young squad. They're going to look a lot better. They're going to be able to compete, but they're still going to be number 14 in the East, 24-58. Afterwards, got the Raptors. Team where we talked about a lot of talent on that team. I really like their Dennis Schroeder addition. I know he's not an all-star of any means, but he can really do anything you want a point guard to do. He really can. I believe in him, but they're gonna come in 35-47. It's gonna be 11 more games than the Pistons. So 11-game difference between them and the Pistons. So they're gonna be competing for a play-in spot, I think, but just not able to pull it off.
Gotcha.
Afterwards, at the Bulls. Really weird team. We got DeMar DeRozan, he's a baller. We got Zach LaVine, straight baller. Lonzo Ball, probably not playing. Nikola Vucevic, just extended that man. He's getting big money. He's a baller too. He's been a baller for years now since the Magic. But again, another disappointing year with Chicago. They might have to consider blowing things up, but they're gonna be competitive. I feel like that's one of those teams that could end up anywhere. They have Javon Carter too. I feel like that could be a big difference maker. He can be their playmaker guy. I feel like this Bulls team could dramatically overperform for what I have them as right here. My way too early prediction, but this is what I have.
The only problem with them blowing it up is they don't want to blow it up because they're hoping Lonzo's healthy after the season, and that's what they're waiting for.
But even if Lonzo comes back, he's probably not going to be the same player.
Yeah,
and I think DeMar is going to be old. Vucevic is going to be older.
I also don't think
Contract
Lonzo's
issue.
that one guy that will bring them where they want to go either.
The best course of action is to blow it up.
I think so too. And what's your record for them?
I have the Bulls at 36-46, 1 game above the Raptors, and 2 games below the Hornets. I got the Hornets. We got LaMelo Ball. If that man's healthy, and I think he's gonna still struggle with injury, but I think something tells me he's gonna be healthier this next year. And that man, he's a baller. He's gonna elevate his team. PJ, that whole team, they were horrible. But guys, nobody was watching the Hornets. That's the thing. PJ Washington didn't play a lot of games, but they had Kelly Oubre. He's still a free agent. No one's talked about him. Really weird.
Yeah,
but they've got some ballers on that team. I'm a little bit worried about their coaching as well, but they have some ballers on the team. I think LaMelo Ball will elevate them to be right outside of playing, like right outside the play-in. I think they're going to be there. They're 38-44 record.
And like Valentine said, Miles Bridges is coming back. Kai Jones has definitely been saying a lot of stuff recently, and I mean he's good too though. When he showed that in the Summer League, but he is definitely overstepping his talent right now with what he's saying he's better than Michael Jordan. He beat him in a 1v1. I don't know what he's doing, honestly. I don't think he's helping himself that much, but he could be I think he'd be really good for them if he gets minutes. But right now he's talking, and I don't know what he's talking for.
He can beat Mike right now because Mike's old.
I mean, if that's what he was saying, maybe, but still, it's just weird. And he was saying that with a bunch of other players too.
I think he was like trashing Mark Williams.
Yeah, he was trashing his own team. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's good for chemistry, but I do like their team too, and I think they can definitely fight for a play-in spot. Sorry about that, but you want to keep going?
Yeah, I believe last year that was one of the biggest underperforming teams based off talent, but in large part due to injury, some chemistry and coaching issue. Just different issues. They have Terry Rozier, straight baller, even Gordon Hayward. I mean, that's actually a really deep team. But anyway, then I've got playing team number 10. We have coming in just one game or 2 games above the Hornets at 40 and 42, just below 50%. We got the Magic. Orlando Magic. I've been telling y'all, don't sleep on my Magic. They're gonna give people a run for their money next season. They're gonna keep games close. They're gonna take some games. They're gonna steal some games, and they're gonna be in the play-in. They will compete. They're still young. They're gonna be healthier, so they got a lot to learn. But they will. I mean, they're gonna be this year's OKC. They're gonna be this year's OKC. Basically, what I have them as. Then we got number 9. The Hawks stay mediocre at another 41 and 41 season. And Dan Schneider, guys, I like him. This is one of the other teams that I think they could be. They could be a number 3 seed because they have all the talent in the world. They could be number 3 seed. But I mean, there's just a lot of things. Even when Schneider was there, they were still winning half the games. They didn't change when Dan Schneider got there. They didn't change when they got Sadiq Bey. None of that changed.
Wait, two things.
It's Quinn Snyder first of all.
Dan Schneider is the former Commanders owner.
But they hired him. They got Dan Schneider now.
Quinn Schneider. And number 2. Yeah, so I have the Hawks as my 3 seed. You kind of said it. Yeah, Lauren. I got the Hawks as my 3 seed.
I didn't admit it. I didn't even know you had that. I said
Okay. So last year, the Hawks, mediocre, bad head coach situation. Trae Young had probably his worst year as a pro. I mean, besides his rookie year. Obviously there was chemistry, not issues, but chemistry struggles with DeJounte coming in, John Collins. I think the fresh start, it's a reinvigorated team. I think they'll finally pan out. They'll show us what we saw on that conference finals run. They also look really good in the playoffs. Yeah, I got them taking a big leap. They're my most improved team this year, personally.
I can see it, and I agree. I think that's a good take. I'm just wondering, you said fresh start. Why do you say fresh start? What is fresh about the team?
Well, just John Collins was there, and he was like in trade rumors for forever, and then they finally move on from him. I feel like him and Trae Young were kind of clashed. I just feel like it's a better situation now than it was a year ago.
And I think with coaching too, they have one of the. I mean, obviously because he just got there, but I feel like Nate McMillan too wasn't the biggest team chemistry.
And Trae Young also
leader. Exactly.
a little bit. Also, lost my train of thought.
It'll come back to you, but I have a question. As far as chemistry. Who's their leader? We have a lot of question marks around who could be a leader on the team. And it's not really DeJounte nor Trae Young.
Yeah. It's a legit question. And if Trae Young is going to have to step into that role, we'll see if he can. Or DeJounte could maybe step in that role if he doesn't seem like a leader type.
I do think
there's going to have to be steps made.
I do think Rudy Gay might be one of those pieces, at least in chemistry. I do think because he's a vet, and I do think he's gonna have to be that one guy kind of off the bench. I don't know how many minutes he's gonna get, but he's gonna have to be that one. I think he's gonna be their glue guy.
I also really like the Wesley Matthews and Patty Mills additions. They just brought in a lot of vets.
Did they get Fernando too, right? I guess I don't really need him.
Brought him back, but
y'all forgetting about Clint Capella.
Clint Capella is still there.
Okongwu, I mean, I think on paper they are arguably a top 5 most talented team in the league. Like straight up, I believe that. I believe with this exact roster how they performed last year, I think 10 years ago they would have been the number 3 seed in the East, or they very likely could be. With how competitive the league is going to be, and how many question marks I see around that team that I don't see being resolved, that's why I have them where I have them. But talent-wise and what they're able to do, I think, the sky's the limit for that team. Just based off if they can kind of arrange some things, the talent's all there. I mean, they're cracked. Well, afterwards, I've got also at a 50% winning. I got the Brooklyn Nets. They lost a lot of talent with Kyrie, Kevin Durant, these guys. But they were balling even after they lost those guys. They were balling. I really like their coach, potential coach of the year candidate next year. These guys are balling. Mikal Bridges is a baller. Cam Johnson a baller. They got a lot of different pieces. They got what's his name?
Got Jalen Wilson and Noah Clowney in the draft.
They got Clax, that's his name. Clax, really great anchor at the center. Dinwiddie, perfect facilitator, facilitating point guard. I like their pieces a lot.
Cam Thomas.
Oh, they signed. They still have Simmons. Hopefully, he's healthy.
Oh, Ben Simmons. How could we
And then you
Yeah, Ben
signed
Simmons,
Lonnie
yeah.
Walker and Dennis
Lonnie.
Smith Jr. as well. So they can be
Dennis
really
Smith, I
good
mean,
too.
I like them a lot. I think Coach, what's his name, Vaughn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be able to do some things with that team. And they're still lacking. They're still young, but I like them.
I like the prediction.
They were my 8 seed this one.
Oh, so it was. I guess you didn't make record.
Yeah, Cam Thomas can also show that he can go crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll get more playtime this season too.
Big question. You can
I
take
kind of
that.
doubt it with the signings that they have with Lonnie and Dennis, but it'll be interesting. I think he deserves another chance at least.
Get some buckets.
Exactly.
Well, at number 7, big leap here. It's that time. The Pacers are at number 7,
I have them at 7
43,
as well.
39 record. Tyrese Halliburton, all-star player. Turner, they've got a lot of pieces around them. Really, they've got a pretty deep Pacers team. I would say they're lacking a little bit on bigs.
They got Jarvis Walker in the draft, I think.
Exactly, he's a great piece there. Exactly, I think this team is going to be a team. They're going to be young and they're going to have things to learn.
Obi Toppin.
Exactly, Obi Toppin. They got Bruce Brown. They got so many great pieces. I see them as a really. I see them as a good team coming next year that is going to be able to compete with any other team.
I could see them in 6 too.
Yeah,
They really can move around.
Yeah, they could, especially if they're healthy. They
Almost
could,
moved them to 6. I was this close to putting them at 6.
if they're healthy, they could really do things.
So, I mean, I just every single addition they made this offseason,
Oh,
I was in love with. You know, Therese Walker,
best
Obi
offseasons.
Toppin, Bruce Brown. They kind of overpaid him, but you got money to spend. And
Ben
everyone
Shepherd, I
else
feel like
got-
he could be a good piece too.
Ben Shepherd too. Yeah,
They drafted well.
Yeah, they
Isaiah
drafted.
Wong.
I love Isaiah.
Yeah, I mean, they just got so much talent, and then obviously you got Tyrese Miles Turner,
You have the same.
Ben
Mathrid, Neesmith.
All NBA, not all NBA, all rookie second teamer and Ben Mathurin.
They have a really nice team.
Really nice team. Buddy Hield.
He just changed his number too to 7.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I don't like it really, honestly, but
I love it.
you do.
I have them in my 7th seed, baby.
Oh, there
He
you
knows
go.
it's
It's
coming.
true. He knows what's happening.
What's up?
What was your record for them?
43-39. They're going to be 2 games above that halfway point. And then I guess I went through my 4 playing teams. So here's where I have my prediction. Pacers will take down the Nets. And then the Hawks will beat the Magic. And then the Hawks will also beat the Nets. The Hawks will overpower the Nets and be the 8th seed in the playoffs. And the Pacers the 7th seed.
Do you guys know who has the most or like the best statistical playing performance ever or playing like average?
The Hawks probably.
Yeah.
They're
Very
always
young.
in the play. They always get out of it.
And they they were the 10th seed. I get a couple years ago, crushed the Hornets, or they barely beat the Cavs, but
But they still won.
yeah. I
Are
mean,
they-
they
have they
still
lost?
won. They haven't lost them playing. And then they crushed the Heat last year.
Yeah, that was.
Well, that's why I have them doing that again. I'm not changing that tradition.
Yeah, I think I could totally see that happening. Yeah.
And then I got number 6 here. This one's gonna be interesting. Number 6 for the Sixers. It's just calling their name. Sixers got MVP Joel Embiid. They're gonna go 45-37, which is gonna be 8 games less than this previous season. But I mean, hey guys, the organization's in a tough spot. James Harden may or not play. This one's hard to predict. Embiid has injury problems throughout his career, which could lead to more losses. They still have some really good talent on that team.
They got a great piece, Pat Bev, though, which I like.
They
Yeah,
picked
he
up
could be
Pat
good.
Bev. They still have Reed is a great guy too behind Joel. They got
And
Aubrey
they have-
back. Melt.
They have Montrez too, right? Or did he? I thought they got Harold.
I don't even remember.
But yeah, I mean, you're looking at probably not really using Harden this season.
Max
There
you're
could be
You're
just
looking,
looking at
big
Showtime.
team chemistry issues. There could be gigantic team chemistry
Yeah.
issues.
you're looking at Embiid potentially asking for a trade at some point.
I'm looking forward to Maxey though.
Yeah, he's gonna have a
he's
great
gonna be good,
season.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I kind of have them in the same spot. I have them at 5. But it's just it's just, even when Embiid's out, even when Harden's out, Maxey, he doesn't miss many games, but they always find a way to stay consistent with it. Obviously,
They still have MVP Joel Embiid. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's still on that team. It's not
after
changing.
all, I mean, some people are predicting a total fallout. I think they'll be fine. I could see a trade next offseason possibly, but yeah, I think they'll be fine.
I don't know. They're up in the air a little bit for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how the Harden situation is going to affect that team right now. They've dealt with it before Ben Simmons pretty much.
Yeah.
But it'll be
but
interesting.
they have Harrell, I think, still, and then they signed Mo Bamba as well. So they have like 3 backup bigs. You still have Tucker too.
They signed Obama.
Yeah, they signed Mo Bamba too. So I wonder if they're preparing for potential Joel Embiid, or if they're just preparing for him getting hurt again a lot. Who knows? But they have quite a bit of like backup bigs, especially for what they've used to have in the last like 2 years. They had like nothing.
When they had Dwight, that was the best team. When they had Dwight,
They had Drummond. They had Drummond.
They had Drummond like 2 seasons ago too. I guess they've had a few bit, but they always let him go.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
They're not used.
They're definitely the team to look out for this season, just in what's gonna happen.
New coach.
New coach
Nick
too.
Nurse.
Nick Nurse. I think he's.
I like Nick Nurse a lot.
I do too. He's better than
Oh, guys, am I tripping right now? I thought Nick Nurse went to. No, he didn't. I thought he went to the Bucks for a second, but he did not.
No, that's
Adrian Griffin.
Griffin, that's what it is.
Another Raptors assistant.
The Bucks should have got Nick Nurse.
Three of
That
the
would be
Raptors.
fantastic.
3 of the Raptors coaches got.
Who's the other one?
With the. Oh wait, I'm tripping. I was like,
Me too.
oh, the Raptors coach got the Raptors job, but that was the Grizzlies coach.
Oh, and this is from the Grizzlies.
But I like Nick Nurse a lot. He's a great coach. Bucks, I thought should have got him. I think he would have fit.
Yeah, I think that would be really nice.
Hey, but maybe they like Adrian Griffin.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll.
We'll see what happens.
If I'm Nick Nurse right now, I'm sweating.
Oh yeah.
You gotta win this year.
Oh yeah. I mean, at the same time though, now with Harden doing his thing, I do think, especially with him, who knows how it's going to affect the team. But you still have pretty big things to do.
I mean, Nick Nurse's job is fine, but he might be coaching a bum squad if Embiid has to.
He might be. That's true. He might end up being disappointed because he's not coaching the team he thought he was going to coach. But I still think he'll do great things with whatever he has. I mean, he's a good coach. Has he won Coach of the Year?
Yeah.
He has, right? Yeah.
First
When he won the championship.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. So
I'm pretty sure the Raptors had Coach of the Year back to back with two different
coaches.
That's crazy.
But,
All right. Number 5.
Number 5, I'm keeping it the same as last year. Knicks will do number 5 again. They're gonna win one more game, 48-34. The Knicks, they got a good team. They're gonna do what they do. They're really talented. So they're gonna be 48-34. I mean, Brunson's a baller. I got nothing more to say.
Yeah, Brunson, he's just like last playoffs or this past playoff, he went crazy. He really carried them. Josh Hart is a great piece for them.
Best role player in the league.
Yeah, honestly.
Amen.
They
Got quickly
Julius Randle,
of the
if
year
he can stay a
candidate.
little more healthy. RJ Barrett's getting back in a rhythm again. He was
Robinson.
pretty off last season, but he's getting in that rhythm as it's on the playoffs. So I'm just excited for RJ Barrett to be back in rhythm again because he was fun to watch for you.
That'd be nice.
So Knicks fans can breathe. They got a good team for next year.
Yeah, it's true. Did they didn't make many changes, did they? They kind of have same thing.
They lost Obi Toppin, the Deacons guy.
Brought in Dante DiVincenzo.
Oh yeah, I keep thinking that happened last season.
That's true.
But he could be a pretty good addition.
So guys, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I forgot the Knicks. So
I almost did too.
just bump everyone down one and start the Knicks at 4.
This guy.
Oh boy.
All right, well, number 4. Here we go, guys.
Well,
They're
now
gonna
my
win.
father's the guy.
Oh, I guess we're not going to 4.
No, I was just curious what his was, but your number 4 is it the Caps?
My number 4 is going to be the Miami Heat. They're going to win.
That's
They
what I
won
have them,
44
actually.
games last year in a very disappointing regular season performance. They should easily be able to win 5 more games. They lost a few players, but you know it's Heat culture. They draft well. They've got some dogs on their team. They may or may not get Dame. That could greatly affect their playoffs spotting.
Yeah, they
I
were the
got
hardest team, in my opinion, to rank, just because are they gonna have
You never know. They
They
can literally be
literally-
anywhere. Well, even without him, I mean, you look at what they did last year, and then the year before that, they were the first seed.
Yeah.
So
they're
I'm
the
really
easiest
liking-
to rank for the playoffs though, Loki. You know they're gonna make it to at least the second round every year. Doesn't really matter who they're playing.
I'm really liking the two certain Heat young players, Jovic and Jaime Jaquez.
Mhm.
Those
If
two
they
are
get playing
dogs.
time, they could ball out for him.
Yes,
Because
they could.
Jovic was really good in the FIBA World Cup, and Jaime Hawkins, he just got that Heat mentality,
Yeah.
so he's gonna be really good for this.
Dude, Jaime Jaquez is going to be such a good rookie.
Yeah,
I mean, Christian Brown, type energy, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, and then in the summer league too, you saw Orlando Robinson show out some skills. I wonder if they'll use
I
him
mean,
as
he has-
backup more.
He had some flashes.
Mhm. Haywood Highsmith did some good things in the playoffs. You still have
The
Duncan
finals,
Robinson.
yeah.
Like you have some talent there, and they've all shown in the playoffs even that they can do stuff. So,
Tyler Harrell unfortunately was also hurt in the playoffs.
Yeah.
yeah, that didn't help at all, and they still made it to the finals.
Yeah, but so the Heat are my 7th seed, just because it kind of seems like they don't
Try that much.
care during the regular season. I still think they're going to go deep.
I think the seasons before they were always better ranked in the regular season. Last year they had a little bit of issues with injury, Kyle Lowry injuries, Tyler Hare. They had a lot of injury issues.
Mhm.
And I think this year their mindset after being in the finals, they're going to be locked in for the playoffs, and they're not
Yeah.
going to care that much about the regular season. But they're going to be locked in this next season. Like they've made it to the finals twice in the last 3 years. They're going to be They're going to be locked in, and I think they're going to at least get that 4th place finish. But you're right. You never really quite know. This is kind of my way too early prediction for the Miami.
Only thing that worries me with the Heat is the point guard depth.
Yeah.
Obviously, that could change.
Dame.
Yeah, but like they lost Gabe Vincent. I
Yeah.
think they should have gone out and signed a guy like.
I mean, they did get Josh Richardson.
Dennis Schroeder.
They did get Josh Richardson. He could be
Richardson's
a good
big.
Be
backup.
the backup point guard, but
He's a great
Um,
piece.
obviously they were counting on trading for Dame. I think it's still going to happen, but
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's up to the Trailblazers to accept or not, or
Yeah.
even talk to them. Really,
here's your 3.
I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers are gonna stick around where they were last year. One less win. Basically that's the exact same thing. And they're gonna be 50-32. Cleveland Cavs, kind of a no-brainer. They're a great regular season team. I know they had a horrific playoff performance, but they're gonna be number 3 regular season. They're taking that spot. Darius Garland, straight baller. Potential. I mean, depending on how he plays, he could be an all-star starter. Should be an all-star. We'll see what happens. Donovan Mitchell, no question about who he is, and just a pretty well-rounded team. They got some good draft picks, some good additions. Got Danny Green, drafted Amani Bates. It's kind of
They
a
got
no-brainer. Number
Struce and
3.
Niang too. So, Niang I think is a better addition than Struce is, but Struce has shown he can do.
There you
things
go.
too.
Niang
I
and
mean,
Struz.
when he's on, he's on.
When he's on, but Niang he's always on.
No,
So
yeah, the Cavs, they've improved every year for the past 3 years.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
their record's just gone up. And ranking wise, they've gone up in the past 3 years.
Good. Sorry.
That's all.
Okay. I really enjoyed their offseason. I like the additions they made. Obviously, the Donovan Mitchell question looms. Is he going to resign? There's been rumors that he doesn't want to stick around in Cleveland. We'll see what happens with that. I think winning obviously will change his mind, and I think they could do that this year.
that's true.
Do you have questions for them? Do y'all have questions for them at big? Do we think
Yes.
those have been answered? Do we think they?
No.
They have not been answered.
So
Yeah.
spacing. That's my biggest concern
Mhm.
because having 2 bigs that can't shoot, it doesn't work.
Does not help at all.
Yeah, and like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland couldn't really get much going because they couldn't get to the basket.
What do y'all think about like an Okoro starting power forward lineup, or Monty Bates? What do we think about a smaller lineup that only has Allen or Mobley in one?
I could see that during closing time,
I could see it.
or like
Yeah,
Just
I
to
mean, I guess
try
they'll
it.
probably try it at that point first, and I could see
Get
them
ready for the
trying a few
playoffs.
things, though.
They
They-
did it a
they-
little bit in the playoffs, and they were really good that way with Evan
They
Mobley.
need, and I think they need to try it more to get ready. They need to prepare for the playoffs. That's their goal. Their mindset this season is we need to get ready for the playoffs.
And
They're gonna be
Okoro
fine
reminds
regular
me Okoro reminds me a lot of PJ Tucker, kind of smaller guy, but he can definitely play power forward. He's got that defensive mentality.
Yeah.
He can shoot. He's a better driver, in my opinion, than PJ Tucker. But he reminds me a lot of PJ Tucker, and so I think he could definitely take that role into power forward and Evan Mobley as center.
Yeah, the only problem is he is shorter than Tucker. He is 6'5", so you're definitely playing a pretty short lineup if you use him. But it could be very effective too, especially if you rotate well and have some good communication and stuff on the court. It could work out well. And I mean, you have what then? Mitchell, Garland. Who'd be your small forward at that point?
Or honestly, Strooks, Niang, and then Mobley, I think would be.
Yeah, you could do something like that too.
Monty
Or you could
Bates.
put Bates, Niang.
If he can show that he
That's true. Yeah.
defends.
Or you could put
He's
Bates or
defense.
Okoro at
Yeah.
small forward.
His offensive elite.
He needs to defend consistently. He did that in the summer league. With
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the good thing too is if you're putting a power forward, you're starting a Okoro and Mobley. They're both great defenders too.
Yeah.
So they'll help him out too. Obviously, you want to make sure his defense is better because
Even Strooks is a good defender. Too.
that's true. He's a pretty good defender too. But that's the only thing that I didn't like too much about that I don't like too much about Niang is he really lacks on defense, but his shooting is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main reason they got him, honestly, is for shooting because they didn't have that too much last season.
They have a lot of offensive weapons.
Yeah, they're definitely lacking a little bit on defense. They have a few really good defenders, but that's kind of it.
Which is weird because they were the #1 ranked defense last year
That's true.
because of Evan Mobley.
And that's probably why they're not too worried about
Jared Allen.
getting.
Oh yeah.
That's probably why they're not too
We're
worried about
protected.
getting defenders either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had them at my 5, but it's so close.
Mhm.
They could have been 3. They could have been.
They could be. I mean, these last 3 that Lauren has said, he's had a game difference of 1, and I think that very accurately describes how it could go. It really just is that one game of winning or losing, and that could be an injury from one of their star players or something too to what makes them fall or go up 1 or 2 games.
I think it's gonna be competitive. Yeah, between particularly according to my rankings, the Cavs, Heat, and Knicks. But I mean, things are this year, like I said, it's gonna be extremely competitive. We saw last year in the West. I think East is gonna see this too. This year in the West is gonna be, I think, arguably crazier than last year. It's gonna be crazy, but we'll get there in a second.
Mhm.
I have some good teams missing the playoffs.
I know the West is hard.
Yeah.
The West is hard to rank.
2 seed.
2 seed in the East.
To see, I think the #1, #2. I mean, they're gonna vary. I think everyone has them in their top 2.
Mhm.
Ranking may vary. I believe the Celtics will be #2 again. They're gonna be 55 and 27. Celtics squad is, we know who they are. They're cracked. They lose a Marcus Smart. That could potentially actually be a pretty dramatic game changer as far as leadership. And we know what he brings defensively, but we also know what that team has besides Marcus Smart on defense. So I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about what he brings as a personality, as a leader to that team. I'm actually really worried about that, particularly in the playoffs.
It,
Um,
it's kind of like the Trae Young thing. Like he's got to be a leader now. Jason Tatum now has to be the guy. You know.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he can step up.
But Derek White, I think,
Derek
can also
White,
take the lead. He's the type of guy to do that.
he was the best defender on the Celtics last year.
Yeah.
love Derek White. I just don't see him as a vocal, I'm the leader. Hey guys, let's rally. I don't see him being that guy.
Yeah.
I don't see Derek White being that. I don't see him being that guy with talent either. I love Derek White, but he's not gonna be Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
We know that.
But they have
Yeah.
Chris Sapps this year, so
I'm interested in what they do lineup wise, whether they put Brown and Tatum at shooting or small forward to play big, or if they play him small forward, power forward, and then you got to figure out who you're playing as backup point guard if you start White and Brogdon. Because they signed a few guards too. You have Pritchard, you signed Banton, who could be a backup point guard. And then you have JD Davison, he's been there for a little bit too. So you have to figure out your backup point guard then too. But I could see them just playing big man too and going like White, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis, and then Horford or Williams at 5.
probably Williams.
But I'm interested to see what they do lineup wise too.
So you got the Bucks 1.
I think it's
I wonder.
Yeah, I got the Bucks 1. The Bucks. I mean, I see the Bucks. They're gonna. We saw them be good last year. We saw them be the #1 team in the league, very quietly. A lot of injuries. Middleton almost didn't play. Holiday missed a few games. Giannis missing a few games. Then you have a disastrous playoff performance. They're gonna go out there and they're gonna play really hard. I mean, we're talking about a Bucks team. They're gonna look really scary next season, and they're gonna be. I have them at 59 and 23.
And
Also-
Marvin Beauchamp went off in Pro-Am, set the record. I know it's a Pro-Am, but I think he's gonna take a bigger role in the
Hey.
roster.
He had really good second half in
He
the summer
could,
league
he could be
too.
one of those role players
Mhm.
or one of those bench guys that takes the leap and becomes a foundational role player.
Yeah.
He's got the talent. He's got the skill.
I think another reason why the Bucks are going to play harder this season too is because of the worry of Giannis possibly leaving if you don't do.
I mean, he's
If you either don't perform or you don't do moves, you're losing Giannis
Yeah,
after the season. So
we
they're
don't
going to
often-
play hard to keep him.
Yeah, we don't often see stars to say that, and Giannis, since he's the guy who he is, he's always genuine. And so, I mean, he's like, yeah, if we're not winning, I'm leaving. You know, you gotta win. You gotta win this year, and that's why the hiring of Adrian Griffin is so interesting. A rookie head coach. When Giannis has made comments like these, they must have a lot of confidence in him.
Well, quickly too, but to be fair, I think Giannis didn't start really saying much about it until after, like 2 months after they signed him. So
I got a good feeling about Adrian Griffin. I think he's gonna work out.
And everyone on the Bucks team has the mentality to win.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Marvin Beauchamp,
Chris
Chris
Middleton.
Middleton,
They've been there,
Lopez.
and that talent is crazy. We know Middleton, one of the most underrated
and they
players.
won. We know they can win.
Drew Holiday. I mean, they can. The thing is, they can all play defense, very elitely. Offense, playmaking, shooting. Besides Giannis, and then we have Jean Beauchamp, elite defender. We saw him put up crazy scoring as well to replace
Grayson Allen has a lot in his
Bobby
bag too.
Portis. Bobby Portis. I mean, this and they most of these guys they even picked up Jay Crowder. They picked up Jay Crowder. Like the most,
Yeah.
and these guys have all they've been there. We
He didn't
know
even play. Really in the playoffs.
even play really, but
I mean, it's probably
just
more
able-
from a glue kind of guy too, just kind of.
I like the Grayson Allen a lot because he has defense, shooting, offense, and he like last season he was a dog, dude. He was like diving on the floor everywhere. He was really doing a lot for the Bucks.
He dribbled out the last possession though. When they had
yeah, I will say he left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, he definitely
No,
did.
but yeah, his season. He had a strong season all in all.
I just think Grayson Allen's overall reputation was ruined by his Duke.
Yeah, the tripping.
Yeah,
By the bad stuff
but
that
he
does.
was so good last season, and I don't think he got enough credit for how good he played last season for the Bucks.
Yeah, but I definitely think
Didn't help his playoff performance. Didn't help at the end.
No, not at all. Not at all. But yeah, I think the Bucks are probably getting up first, or at least they're gonna fight the hardest to be first. Just with Giannis.
I can also see them like resting starts a little bit to be
That's true.
fully ready to go to the playoffs. That's why I have them.
Well, the thing too is the Celtics could fight really hard too, especially with the way they went out the last few years,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they
Um,
could be, but like we said, Smart's gone, so you might have to fix the little things first before you can even get to that level. But talent, they have it all.
But also, I think the Heat's blueprint. You know, they were the 8th seed. They had injuries. They you know.
Oh yeah.
Crude. And I think it's showing now that even though home court is important, it's less important than it used to be. I think just because of talent level.
Yeah.
You know, Boston got blown out Game 7 at home.
Yeah, sure.
Having all the momentum.
I mean, last season the opposite happened though. I
But
think,
that's
right because they were.
Oh,
Was
I'm
it?
talking
Right.
about this.
No, I know.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just saying because the season before that they were home, and that's why.
The
Going
Heat were home.
No, when they were playing the Bucks in the conference finals last season, or two seasons.
They played.
Was that not the conference
That
finals?
was the semifinals. Yeah, but it
That's
felt like the
crazy.
conference finals.
Yeah.
But and then they played in Miami for Game 7 because the Heat were the
Oh,
one
yeah,
seed
yeah,
and Celtics won.
yeah.
going back
Anyway.
to like earlier in the rankings, the Bulls, I think they could actually overtake the Hornets and the Magic
Mhm.
because Javon Carter
Yeah.
has is on the Bulls now, and he is crazy when he gets the ball. He dropped what 33-point game
I'm the
With-
Thunder.
with the Bucks.
Oh man.
No,
Like
remember
if he
that
gets
game.
the minutes and he gets the ball, he's gonna do some crazy stuff for the Bulls.
Well, so the Bulls, I think they have the talent to be even a top
Oh,
5
yeah.
seed, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just can they put it together? Billy Donovan struggled in his Bulls tenure, except for the month and a half that he had Lonzo Ball.
And Asomnu struggled last season, so I'm hoping.
Yeah,
he'll
they
come
have
back
this.
from that.
They have Kobe White again, and they have Caruso and Javon Carter all at guards.
and Zach LaVine had a rough start to the season.
Yeah,
and
that's
picked up in
true.
the second half, and they were better. So
And I
I'm
actually
not-
think they picked up Torrey Craig too. I think that could be a
That's a
really
good
good
addition.
addition for them too. Actually, I totally forgot
they're
about
cracked on defense.
Yeah,
And I'm not convinced, unfortunately, on Billy Donovan, just throughout his entire NBA career, from what I've seen from Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
I
Not
agree.
convinced at all, but I mean, I think I'm not trying to diss on my own rankings, but I absolutely agree with they could be top 5 team. Because Javon Carter, if we're looking at Lonzo Ball, Javon Carter's gonna sound crazy, but he's not a bad replacement for Lonzo Ball because he can play defense. We saw him if you guys pay attention to last year, his scoring. Anytime Drew Holiday was on the court, he was doing like his numbers were crazy. He was an efficient
Yeah.
scorer, lockdown defender, playmaker. He can do it all.
And so the thing about the Bulls, when they had Lonzo, they were like the best defense in the league, which was unexpected because they had, Vucevic, Levine, DeRozan, all defensive minded, but they had a defensive minded point guard that was a point of attack defender. Now they got Caruso and Javon Carter, and I would assume
Craig.
I think their
Torrey
defense,
Craig.
Torrey
They
Craig.
picked up
I think their
Craig.
defense can go back to that kind of level, and I think that's what could.
They
propel
have
them.
Drummond still too on the bench.
Yeah, especially so if Levine plays like how he did the second half of the season, if DeMar plays like how he could play.
The 2 buzzer beater games.
Yeah, if Vucevic can be Vucevic, they're gonna be a good team.
They could be a really good team for sure. And I think that's another reason, right? They don't want to blow it up because they're waiting for Lonzo. And I mean, in theory, you have a good team.
Yeah.
Like you really do. But obviously they haven't performed too well. And Lonzo, he might be that piece to kind of just glue them all together and stuff, but it's just risky too if that's all you're waiting for, you know what I'm saying? Do you think Lonzo is that guy that's the missing piece for your team?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're not sold on that, I don't know if it's worth trying to stay just for him.
Yeah, that's a great point because to Valman's point as well. I think if this year, if they play like I have them ranked, you have to blow it up. I think if Javon Carter though shows you flashes of the team's greatness and the team's able to perform, then sure, wait for Lonzo. But if they can't perform without, and I'm not even saying Javon Carter's Lonzo Ball, but I do think Javon Carter might be one of the most underrated players in the league, just because of he hasn't just been he hasn't done a lot recently until last year, only as a backup, only on backup minutes.
He was awesome when he got those minutes.
Amen.
That's true.
So yeah, I think if the Bulls can get to like top 5, top 60, keep the core together.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Let's see how it looks with Lonzo.
I think if you can do that without Lonzo, I think Lonzo could be that piece if you can play
the
that
Bulls
well
were
without
like by far the best team piece when they had Lonzo Ball. Obviously, that was peak Lonzo Ball. He was shooting 40%.
And I think that's why they're waiting for him to
That's
come back too,
amazing.
because they knew how they were when they had him. But it's all up to them how they play, how they get coached and everything.
All right.